Welcome. In this video, I'll show you step by step how you can create a SQL Server 2012 Always On Availability Group. Always On Availability Group rely on Windows Server Failover cluster for failure detection and for management of availability group replicas. What that means? That means if in any case you lose one of your instances where you have your SQL server, where you have also your database and your application is connected to that database, you can easily redirect all your connection string of your application to using automatically failover to another instance, another database. And I will show you in one example with one application and two nodes in my failover cluster and two different instances. Here I'm using a virtual machine. I'm using Windows Server 2012 on one machine, also on the second one. Okay. Also on the second one, you can see it's Windows Server 2012, and I have the main controller here. I have my Active Directory and the domain user, and as you can see here, this is server number 3, but I have also server 1, server 2. I'll create failover cluster for those two servers, and let's get started. First of all, you should have already installed your failover cluster feature in your Windows. So I'll show you how you can do this. It's very simple. Add roles and feature wizard, and just next, as you can see, it's Server Manager dashboard for Windows Server 2012, and after that you have add roles and feature wizard, and just follow the wizard. It's very easy to configure this. And at the beginning I have two servers here, server 1, server 2. I've used my first server since I want to create failover cluster here, and just next, and choose file and storage services. You can see here's 2 of 12 installed. After you click next, you will get options here. As you can see, it's a failover cluster already installed on my PC. You should do that on the both of your PCs, or any pieces you like to have in your cluster, failover cluster, any nodes you like to add, you know. And since that already installed, I should go to tools and just failover cluster manager. And as you can see, it's a Failover Cluster Manager wizard, and if you click on Validation Configuration, you will be able to add your PCs, and it depends. I have here domain, and I have domain controller and my domain user, and all my PCs in the same domain, and very easy to add them. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3 server, and I will add just 1 and 2, and just click OK, and then next, and I will run those tests. If you see that I stop recording in one time, it's only because of that I don't want to waste your time, and I will be back after this part of installation go to end. Okay, I'm back now, and it's possible that you get some warnings during creating your failover cluster, since we do not use shared storage, and we do not have quorum configuration. But if you have warning, it's not a big deal. But if you have some kind of error message, you need to fix those before you create Windows Server failover cluster. So we can continue now. Okay, we'll give the cluster name, cluster server, and you should give IP address. In this case, I'll give just 50 at the end to be easier for me to follow all those IPs. Okay, next. As you can see, you have node 1, node 2, and IP address 50 at the end, and we should just click next to create a new cluster. Okay, and cluster is created. Okay, now we have created our cluster server in our domain. If you check our domain controller, you probably see our cluster server here. As you can see here, it's already created, and it's on the list of our PCs on Active Directory user on computers. And once the Windows Server Failover cluster has been created. You can now proceed with enabling Always-On Availability Group feature on SQL Server 2012, and to do that you should go and open your SQL Server Configuration Manager, and now just go to your SQL Server services and right click on your SQL Server instance and just click on properties, and you have tabs here, and as you can see there is a tab with the name Always On High Availability, and just enabled Always On Availability Group, and you can see Windows Failover cluster name is a cluster server and everything seems fine. Just after you enable, you should restart your SQL Server instance, and okay. Now we should create our availability group in our SQL Server instance here. And I have here Adventure 2012, and if you can see, we have folder Always On High Availability in our SQL Server instance, and also a map availability group. If we click right click on the map, we will get new availability group wizard, and as you can see, it's a new availability group. It's simple wizard, and you should just follow the steps, and you will set this availability group very easy. Just next, and just give the name. I will give the name AG example. Okay, and just click next. And now you can see here that we have three databases in our SQL Server instance, and you can see here what is the status of those databases. That full recovery mode is required for this one, for example, and this is this database here have full recovery mode but do not have backup. And now we'll create we'll add full recovery for this database here which we have, and we want to create our availability group for that database, and just click on full option and full, and after that we'll create backup of our database, backup 2, and now we'll follow okay, I just copy this name, I use the same, but I will just change the map where I want to create backup, and I move this one and just confirm that, and we created our backup of our databases. As you can see, it's already created back file. Just a second, and it's done. Okay, we have our backup, and if we now go to our new availability group wizard and refresh this, you can see status is changed to meet requirement, and just check this database you want to add to the availability group, and now you should specify of instance or replicas you want to use for your availability group. As you can see here, I will add a replica. I have already one, the first server one, and I will add the second one, server 2 node. I already created in Windows Failover cluster, and I give automatic failover here for both, and as you can see here, we have readable secondary. What that means? That means if you have application and the connection string of your application is redirected to SQL Server 2, in this case it's server 2, and if it's in state secondary, you will not be able to read or to get data in your application from that database. If you put this on yes, in any initial role of this SQL Server instance and this replica, you will be able to get those data. Okay, and here we have endpoints, and here are our servers with fully qualified domain name here, and the port numbers, and all those is created automatically since I have the main account and domain for those servers here on my virtual machine. And if you do not have that, you should do this manually. Backup preference, it's simply backupping. Do you want to backup first replica or second one? I want to prefer secondary if there is no secondary available. You will choose the first one, but I will choose the secondary only. And this is the listener tab, and you have option here, create an availability group listener, and it's very useful option, since name that you will choose for your listener you will use for your application connection string, and it's very easy to create listener DNS name. And just I use listener SQL, port is 1433, and just add IP. Okay, I will give 51, since I have 50 for my failover cluster here, and just okay, confirm that. Okay, we have now that data synchronization preference. You should choose the full option and provide a shared folder that is accessible replicas, both replicas in this case, for my domain account here, for SQL Server service account, and you must have right permissions on that map. I already have my folder AlwaysOn created, and I will use this one, and I will just continue, and the both of my replica had that folder access, so it's okay. Just connect, and result, everything's success, as you can see. And it's verifying the choices you made during this wizard, and you can read this, but it's everything is okay. And we are now creating our availability group. And okay, that is that, and we create a new availability group successfully. And you can now use your availability group listener name in your application connection string. But first of all, I will show you. I will connect my second replica here, and as you can see here in AlwaysOn map is already created and connected with our database in availability group. We added in our availability group, and now I'll connect the server 2 just to be easier to follow. And as you can see here, we have our database, Adventure 2012, and in our AlwaysOn high availability, we have our group. It's AG example primary, and also in the second replica we have AG example secondary. And if you're using this just for testing purpose, during the creation of your failover cluster, there is one default value. If you want to failover one to another replica, in this case, there is a limitation, since failover cluster manager does not allows you to create too many clusters per hour, or per 2 or 3 hours. It depends. But if you go tools and failover cluster manager, okay, just a second, you can change the number of failovers, and to increase that number. Just a second. Okay, this is my failover cluster manager, and my cluster here, cluster server, under the my domain. And if I go to properties and manage my cluster resource, and if you go to failover, you can see here maximum failover per specified period. Here is 6 hours, as you can see, and I already increased that number, but the default, I think it's 1 or 2 or something like that, but I'm not sure. And I just show you this to know where to find that. If you do not change this, you will be unable to create a failover one to another, and to repeat failover from one replica to another replica. And okay, now I will show you what you can do with your availability group. First of all, I have one application here. Okay, I will close this. Close. One application which is just simple view on database, one of my Adventure 2012 table, and I create some option. You can change your connection string of your application, and I will show you. Okay, this is error, since it's not able to connect to database. It's a different user, and I will change this. It's different server name, as you can see here. But if we put server 1, for example, as a name, and just click on refresh. Everything should be fine. It's my domain user for my database. It's the server name, and as you can see, it's a connection string of my application here, and it's server 1. Now I'll change this to server 2. Also should be fine, since during the creating of our availability group we choose that secondary database or secondary replica, and all database and data replica which we included in our AlwaysOn availability group, it's readable. And if we refresh this, and as you can see, everything is okay, everything is readable, and also we have server as a source server 2. Now if we use our listener, it also should be fine. If we refresh this, just a second, something not works. If we refresh this, we get error that server name do not exist. If we check our Active Directory, and if we yeah, it's listener. I made mistake. I mistype, but it's not a problem. I will use the already existing listener name, and I will use listener SQL. And if we refresh this, we will get our data. Okay, everything is okay. I just misspelled the name of our listener. It's not a big deal. I will use this one. It's not a problem. I just wanted to show you what will happen in case that our server stop from some reason. Server 1, I will stop the instance. Yes, I will stop agent 2. And you will see what will happen. We have automatically failover, and our secondary instance became, just a second, became our primary instance. I will copy this to have the right listener name, and I will put here server 2. And if you try to connect to server 2, as you can see, everything is fine. If you try to connect to server 1, our application will get error that SQL server does not exist, and it's not able to connect to that server name. Just a second. And okay, what will happen now if we run this again? We'll start our instance. Yes. Okay, we start our instance, and here we have refresh this under our availability group. We have the secondary, and we'll do now failover. But okay, I will show you what's happening if you do not put your secondary database, secondary replica on a read mode for your application. For example, its SQL Server instance is working now, is up, but I will not be enabled to connect to this database across my application and connection string, since it's not created in availability group as option to read my database. I put yes just for secondary replica. In this case, this is primary replica, but in either way is accessible, this one here. And what we'll do now, we'll do failover and return our secondary replica to be, or first in this case, but secondary replica at the beginning of creating our availability group. And this will be now secondary, and this one here will be primary replica. And just follow the steps, and okay, just connect, next, and finish. Okay, everything seems fine, and you can see here it's already primary, and this one here is secondary, like it was at the beginning of creating of our availability group. And if we try now to connect to our server 1, everything is fine. And also, as I said, server 2, since we during the creating of our availability group we put read, it's readable database, and also our misspelled listener name work fine. And okay, that will be all for this video. Today we talked about how you can create a Windows failover cluster, how you can create availability group, in this case for two replicas, and I show you what is the meaning of automatic failover, what is the meaning manually failover, and how is important to use your listener name for database connection string if you have any problem with those instances here, for in this case two replicas. If you use listener for your connection string, you will not have any difficulty to connect your application to your database. And that will be all, and thank you for watching.